We've all heard about USDA finance.
Yeah.
So let's break it down. What is USDA financing and what type of programs do you
So when you think of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, what do you think?
Country.
And farms, right?
Yeah.
Did you know?
Agriculture.
Agriculture. So you think most people think it's for farming, but 80% of their budget goes to nutrition, which is food stamps. That's where most of their budget goes. A lot of their money outside of that is for a housing program, and it's called a rural development loan. So they have so many programs within the program, you just have to dig. And it takes a long time to get established with them, but once you're in. And so knowing the game is half the battle.
I agree. I've closed a few USDA loans within my career.
Yeah.
They work.
They work there. And I mean, when you look at the settlement statement.
So let's break it down.
Okay.
Like how does somebody, like what are the qualifications for a USDA loan?
Okay, so the qualifications for a USDA loan for a direct loan is that you have to be in poverty, meaning it is for poor people, working poor. So if you make $15 an hour, so I'll give you an example. Palmetto is a USDA territory.
Absolutely.
Right, so that's
Locust Grove.
Locust Grove. So
I'm very familiar.
Right up the street, like literally right up South Fulton Parkway. So if you make $15 an hour, family of 5, so the husband was the only one that worked. $15 an hour, they got food stamps. They get to use that money to qualify for their loan. So on paper, they qualified for $263,000 in mortgage. The government subsidizes their mortgage by almost 35%. Their mortgage interest rate is 1%. So 1% interest rate on a $263,000 house, and the government is going to subsidize it, and it's going to be spread out over 33 to 38 years, depending on their situation. So if a person has a disability in your household, receives SSI, you automatically qualify for the 1%. So this is so for, again, someone like ourselves who are like, you know what? We just can't find any land in Atlanta. We can't do any deals in Atlanta.
And that's USDA Direct.
USDA Direct.
Direct.
So,
That's not going through the lender.
You can't go through the lender.
Yeah,
you
for
have to
for
go.
the direct program.
But the caveat is the reason most people don't even use it is because they say it takes too long. Well, the time is going to pass anyway, honey. So
That's a gem. The time is going to pass anyway.
Have you ever heard anybody say, I don't want to go back to school? And you're like, but what are you doing? The time is going to, it's how long it's going to take. It's going to take the time it's going to take. So it takes 4 months. And they're going to take, it's a government worker. They're going to take the entire 4 months. But once you have your certificate of eligibility, then you can go find a house. So as a investor, builder, developer, realtor, if we spot build, we already have a guaranteed buyer.
100%.
I have a guaranteed buyer. They have a requirement. The house can't be over 2,000 square feet. Great. I won't build a house over 2,000 square feet. Whatever the guideline is, it's the same thing in the mortgage business. What is the guideline? So the guideline for USDA Direct is the house cannot be over 2,000 square feet. If it can't be over 2,000 square feet, don't build anything over 2,000 square feet. You know how big a 2,000 square feet house is? Especially for someone coming out of a apartment? And their mortgage is going to be $500 a month forever, and they're going to own it? It's an amazing product for people who are for the working poor. But the working poor is most of America.
For the working poor.
For the working poor is most of America. Do you know that 50% of people in America make less than $30,000 a year? 50%. Make less than $30,000 a year. So there's more of those people that need to be served than people who are buying $1 million homes.
That's a fact.
So that is why these programs are super duper important, because for people who have disposable income, who cannot find a deal in their city, drive up the street. You're not a tree. Get in your car. And then you be the face of it, because now you're letting them see that they can't change the rules once we get in it. This is the rules and the guidelines. This is what it is.
So now with the USD Direct, right? Then you have the USD Rural Loan that lenders will offer.
Yeah, that's that one.
So what is the difference? What's the USDA one that the lenders will offer? Like, what are the qualifications for that?
It has to be in a USDA area. So there's a map.
That's number one.
It has to be on the map. So the map searches, and it will tell you green or red. If it's hits green, then that means it is a USDA area, and the address has to hit. So you can't have the census tract. You have to have an address
that goes directly to it,
to that lot.
Minimum 640 credit score.
Yeah, minimum 640. But with this program, you don't have to have one.
See, with the direct one,
with the direct one, you don't.
But if you go through the lender, you have to have a 640 credit
score.
So
that's why this one is so great, because they know in these areas they were catering. This was This was, can I say this on here?
Yeah, go ahead.
This was the white man.
Rants and Gems,
yeah, this
is
like, have you ever been to small towns and you wonder, why don't the black people have a house and all these white people have these big houses with boats and blah, blah, because they knew about the program. Mm-hmm. They knew about the program. They didn't go through the bank. They went through USDA Direct. Because it doesn't matter how much land is on there. They built the house on there. So they built the house on there, paid for the land. Then they got money for farming, all of these things. But it was subsidized. It's the biggest welfare system for whites in this country for almost 100 years.
Wow.
Yes, this program is ridiculously great.
Now, is there a minimum amount of acreage that the property has to be?
So
you said the house has to be 2,000 square feet or less. But can you have like a 50 by 100 lot, or do you need 5 acres minimum?
No, you can have it's a regular size lot. Okay. So it just has to be in that area.
In the rural area.
In the rural area.
In the rural area. Sometimes you'll be surprised by what they deem to be rural. Because the USDA loans I've closed, and this was in the early parts of my career.
Early parts of your career.
We're in Locust Grove, Henry County, McDonough, Palmetto.
Yeah.
Like those areas, but they're right outside of huge like cities. Mm-hmm. Like I'm saying like one step out. So I personally think that we should be able to provide them with a map. I think people really want to start.
Yeah. So it's going to be the USDA.gov.
USDA.gov. And we're going to put this in the description too.
Yeah, it's the USDA.gov, and it is if you want the direct loan program, it is going to be the 502 Direct, because that's the one that you can get subsidies for. It's a lot more leniency, but you have to go through what we call an intermediary. That's what we do. Okay. And they don't deal with the customer or the client directly. The government does. We have to be a certified loan packager.
Explain to the folks out here who don't know what an intermediary is.
So this is why a lot of people they think it's difficult. It's hard because you call people and they won't call you back. How many agents will you call and they don't call you back on a listing?
A million.
So this process, it's called a loan packager. They only get paid $1,750, right? So you have to be doing a lot of volume for that to be, or it has to be a passion for you. Yeah. The only reason I started doing it was because I couldn't find anyone to do it for my clients. I was like, this can't be this hard. And so I went through the certification process in order to be able to do it because I can match a client. So with this, you have to find an intermediary in your area. So we have 4 or 5 offices in Georgia. Mm-hmm. So if you're buying in Henry, I use a different office to send your package to than the person living in Palmetto.
Let me ask you a question, because we always want to make sure we're maintaining our nationwide status.
Yes.
This could be in any city,
everywhere,
any state. So what it is someone needs to go to that website and find an intermediary in their specific area.
Right.
Because this can be used in all 50 states.
It can be used in all 50 states. And a person I can package in all 50 states. So if a person, it's really amazing for my clients that live in DC. So, in DC.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So right outside of DC, in the Maryland area, up in Marlboro, they have, it's all USDA. Yeah. So they have a lot of USDA areas. When you see builders going into those areas, the reason they're going in is because
subsidies.
Well, they're getting, and they give them all their pre-development costs back for infrastructure. They're bringing in a tax basis for the city. So not only are they getting money from the municipality, but they can get the money from USDA. They will give them money. They give them a grant portion, or they will give them a loan. You can do both. So when you see a John Whelan going out there, or you see a D.R. Horton, he ain't going out there for free.
They're getting they're going to go over there.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.